Hey everyone, this is Anthony Parents of One Team Legal and Tax, and welcome back to IRS Medic, where we break down tax headaches so you don't have to. So what if the IRS could legally take 40% of everything you built overnight? Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, guess what? For some folks, it's a real risk, and it's hiding in plain sight because our tax system is so massive and confusing. Today, I'm going to show you when the IRS can grab nearly half your assets, no ifs, ands, or buts, and the simple trick to stop it. This is the stuff that keeps me up at night, and it's why we make these videos, to save you from a tax disaster. So let me tell you about a call I got from Raj, a US citizen. His parents were wealthy immigrants, had built a massive $50 million portfolio of US real estate and stocks. They retired back to India. Raj was upset, but he thought he planned ahead, setting aside $3 million for taxes after his parents passed. But the IRS was telling him he owed close to $20 million. He was confused and angry. Then I asked the question I dreaded. Raj, were your parents US citizens or green card holders? He said no, they've been in the US on an investment visa before moving back to India. And that's when I had to break the bad news. There's a totally different estate tax for non-residents with US assets. Raj's $3 million estimate, it was way, way off. The real tax bill was closer, as the IRS asserted, to $20 million. I felt awful for him. He had to tell his sister this bombshell. What I didn't say then, but I told him later, is there's a simple way to avoid this tax. Raj's parents never heard about it. His sister never heard about it. Raj never heard about it. And by the way, their US tax firm never heard about it. But their mistake cost the family 40% of their legacy. This is bad news if you have time to plan, but imagine it as a surprise. Devastating. So what's the difference? Well, for US citizen, the IRS taxes you on everything you own when you pass. Your house, stocks, bank accounts, no matter where it is around the world. It's like they cast a global net. Now, for non-residents, folks who aren't citizens and don't live here permanently, the IRS only cares about assets physically in the United States, like this $40 million investment portfolio. Sounds better, right? Well, here's the kicker: exemptions. Citizens get a huge tax-free shield, around $30 million for married couples. Non-residents, they get a tiny, tiny break, barely enough to cover the average new car cost. So for that $50 million property, a married US couple who did no estate tax planning might owe as much as $7 million in taxes, while a non-resident gets hit with nearly $20 million tax bill because almost the entire value is taxed. The tax rate, it's the same for both, up to 40%, and it stings. But non-residents pay more because their exemption is so tiny. Citizens can also cut their estate tax bill with deductions like leaving assets to a spouse or charity, subtracting debts, and doing the funeral costs. There are even more sophisticated moves like charitable trust or special life insurance to shrink the tax further. Non-residents get some of these breaks, but only for US assets, and it's trickier, especially if their spouse isn't a US citizen. Now, some countries have tax treaties with the US that help, but many don't. Now, here's how to fight back so your family isn't victimized. For US citizens, when assets start to climb over $10 million, that's when you start investigating estate tax planning. You looked into trust, gifting assets while you're alive, and that could keep the IRS hands off your wealth. It's fun for us tax nerds to outsmart the system legally for our clients. For non-residents, there's an even easier trick we use all the time. If a non-resident owns US property through a foreign company, set up the right way, by the way, that's key, you can escape the US tax completely. For a few $1,000s in legal fees, you could save millions. It's one of the best returns on investment in our practice, and we love it. Our CPAs and attorneys work together, unlike most firms where they don't talk, to make sure every detail is right. Raj's family had called us earlier. We could have saved that $20 million for a fraction of the cost. So where do things go wrong? People make assumptions and skip the basics. Before we do anything, we start with a full tax and legal checkup to get the facts straight. Small details, whether you're a citizen or where your assets are, can change everything in global tax planning. Take Raj's sister, who inherited some of the U.S. assets and isn't a U.S. citizen. Should she hold that property in her own name? Hopefully you know the answer is a big no, as that's asking for another tax surprise. The fix? The same foreign company structure which we set up for others, so her children won't also be saddened and surprised. State tax planning is about one thing: protecting your family's future. Don't let IRS confusion take what you've built. If you want a personalized plan, click on the link below to book a call with us. Have you found this video helpful? Hit subscribe and share, really share with someone else who may need this highly valuable advice. And join us for more ways to keep your wealth where it belongs, with your family. This is Anthony, parent of One Team Legal and Tax. Thanks for watching.